everyone, how are you? Today I want to talk about how to write the impact sections of your funding proposal so that you are super competitive. More and more important, as funders around the world are asking us as part of the research funding process to justify how eventually our research might make a difference. And increasingly it can make the difference between getting funded or not. So let's make this incredibly super simple, quick and easy, because I think we're making this way more complicated than it really needs to be. I'm in Manchester today between 2 days as a deputy chair of a funding panel. This is the UKRI Future Leaders Fellowships. So I'm going to draw on my experience as a reviewer, as a panelist, as someone who has got research funding from various funders. But what I'm going to say will be relevant to you whether you are in the UK, whether you're in Europe, whether you're anywhere else in the world. Because what the funders are looking for is, I would argue, universal and simple. 3 things that you need to get right if you want your next funding proposal to be super competitive. And it is that simple. 3 things. I need to have impact goals, I need to have beneficiaries, and I need activities or pathways that will enable me to achieve those impact goals for those beneficiaries. Simple. So let's start with the first one, impact goals. And the biggest problem that I see in proposals is, first of all, that there are no impact goals. I would say the majority of impact sections that I review actually don't have any impact goals. So ask yourself, what is the benefit that you want to see? Ask yourself, perhaps, who is going to benefit? And then articulate some actual real benefits that you think real people might get at some point in future based on your research. The second biggest problem I see with this is that people put goals down, but actually the goals are engagement or pathway type goals. So we're going to do lots of policy seminars, we're going to engage with social media, we're going to do some public engagement activities. Yeah, great, but what I want to know is, what is the policy impact going to be? What is the benefit to society going to be? Those publics who you engage, what are they going to get out of that? What is the benefit for them? That is your impact goal. And so that's fine, you can have a bit of both, but make sure there's a clear benefit. So I've got a series of impact goals now. Who now are those people that I want to benefit? And I'm now listing different people. Now you can go to my website and you can download my stakeholder analysis or publics analysis tool and do this formally. It takes about half an hour to do a really decent job of that. Now you've got a big long list and you can maybe group them and you can have examples of the different types of organizations you might see within each of those groups, or you can do it off the top of your head. Either way, it's all good. But you've got a list now of specific, and the keyword here is specific organizations, groups, sectors of society that you think will be able to benefit. And the next thing you do is you map between your impact goals and your beneficiaries. So I'm having a look through and I'm realizing, there's an impact goal here, but there are no beneficiaries for that. Well, who would benefit from that? What's the missing group? Great, I'm adding it in. And I'm looking through my list of beneficiaries, and now I've got a beneficiary group here and there's no impact goal. What is the benefit they get? So let's add that benefit in. I've got a missing impact goal, which I've now filled in. So I've got a perfect mapping between my impact goals, which then add up with the beneficiaries. Great. And then the final step is I need to have specific activities that will enable those groups to get those benefits. And again, we're mapping them on. So systematically I'm going through and I'm asking myself, right, for this first impact goal, what are the kinds of pathways that I might use that would take me there? And ideally not just one thing, but what would be the first thing that I would do, and then what would come after that, and then after that, and eventually what will get me to that specific benefit. Once I've gone through and I've mapped and I've made sure I've got an activity, at least one activity, but potentially a bit of a string of activities for every one of those impact goals, I do the same thing with my beneficiaries. So systematically I'm going through and I'm asking myself, right, is there an activity that is suitable for each and every one of those particular groups? And if there is a group there for whom I don't have anything that will work for them, so perhaps this is a group that I know struggle with literacy or who have a different language, well, what am I going to do for that particular group? And I make sure that all of the beneficiaries now have at least one activity, ideally for the impact that I believe they will benefit most from, that is specifically adapted to their context, their needs, their characteristics. Great, and it's just simply that. I've got a map. I've got impact goals that map to beneficiaries, that map to pathways. Ta-da! Now let me show you what this looks like on my website. If you want to get lots more advice and a tool that will pretty much do this for you, then go to my resources page and you can see I'm just passing the Pathway to Impact Builder here and my best practice library, because I'm going to take you to the first of these impact guides. So you can see two guides here, one for UK funders, one for Horizon 2020 in the European Union. But I would argue between the two of these, you've got everything you need for pretty much any funder, wherever you are in the world, to ace the impact section. So I've clicked on the UK guide, and you can see at the top here there is an audio version of this. So I did a podcast on this a while ago, so if you want a much more detailed version than this video, you can have a look at that. And you can see a link here to the Pathway to Impact Builder. Let's click on that so you can have a look at that. So you can see here we have basically a form and 10 questions, and you put the answers to your questions into this form and you hit submit on that, and you get an email from me with a Word document with all of the answers formatted as the impact sections of a proposal. In this case, this is formatted for a UK proposal, so you've got the answer to your first two questions, essentially. They're broken up a bit more. What are my goals and what are my beneficiaries? That is your impact summary, and then I've got the rest of this is now my pathway to impact, but it's there in a Word document. I can now go and edit this and turn this into a proposal. But I would argue, even at this stage, if you've really listened to those questions, thought about them, and spent some time answering those questions, you've got something pretty much ready to submit at that point. Half an hour of your time, that's all it takes. What you can also see here, I've just gone back and clicked on the library. So I've got a best practice library, examples of pathways to impact from proposals. Quite a few of these are mine. It's quite hard to persuade people to part with these. But yeah, here's a wee pitch. If you've got something you think is amazing, send it to me. If I agree, I'll put it in here. But you get a sense of what a good pathway to impact might look like. Again, different funders here, so you get a bit more of a flavour. So that's it. In brief, 3 things that you need to get right. Just 3. It's as simple as that. And a couple of tools that will make this really quick and easy for you to write your next funding proposal with impact sections that are super competitive. Enjoy.